Hey everybody, thanks for clicking the video. This is David Pendleton and this is going to be our pro walkthrough for the Phantom Mansion tournament. Before you start fast forwarding, everybody just listen for just a second because I'm going to ask if anybody out here that watches these videos, and I get a couple thousand views each tournament, if anybody works in the technology field, so if you get deals on computers, laptops, you know, like a gaming computer, I'm in the hunt for a computer and I don't really know 100% what I'm looking for or what I'm doing. So if you're in that field, can you give me a comment and let's talk back and forth, maybe through Facebook, maybe through text messaging, whatever, because I'm trying to take my channel to the next level and do live streaming with the webcam, all that kind of stuff that all these other big dogs do. I just don't know how to do it, what I need 100%. So I know somebody watching these videos probably works in that field, and so just let me know. And secondly, thank you for being patient, okay? My family, my wife, my daughter were in a pretty nasty car wreck, and it's just been hectic. Doctor's appointments, getting some legal consultation, dealing with the insurance company, getting a rental car. So I've got the pro video out. It's a day later than I normally like, but this is going to be a really good pro walkthrough because we have dropped a ton of holes. Now it's just about dropping them all together on one account. But still, a minus 15 is a great starting point. You know, eagle on hole number 1. Hole number 2 is close. Albatross on hole number 3 is definitely able to be duplicated and replicated. Hole number 4, missed it on this account on this round, but I've dropped it 2 or 3 times now, so that's a good chance for a hole-in-one. I just hit a great shot on this one. Hole 5, really good eagle opportunity on a par 4. Hole 6, good opportunity there for an albatross. Hole 7, getting really close to the hole-in-one on that one. Hole 8, unfortunately, keep missing to the left, but I've got a couple ideas. And then hole 9 also gives us another chance for an albatross. So all in all, I'm really excited about this walkthrough. And I think we just have a great chance to go out here and pick up a gold banner. So, let's hop into the replays. Here's a couple pictures of the car accident. So I appreciate everybody who's given us good wishes and good thoughts. Wasn't my wife's fault. She got cut off by somebody at an intersection and had absolutely no time to react. Family's doing okay. Normal bumps and bruises and things like that. But my daughter just had a doctor's appointment and she does have a concussion. So, she's a travel club volleyball player. And unfortunately, she's going to be sidelined for a little bit while we're trying to get all this stuff figured out. So thanks for everybody who sent us good wishes and prayers and all that kind of stuff. But let's hop into hole number 1. All right. So hole number 1, I'm going to show you a couple replays. And I'm going to highlight a couple buddies of mine who sent me their replays. And as you can see on my scorecard, I'm picking up the eagle as well. I just like the way that their ball rolled a little bit better than mine. So here is one shot. And we're going to show you how to do this one with an extra mile 9. And this one's coming from Dustin in Skullrilla's clan. Guy I talk back and forth with a lot about tournament holes and strategy. But I like this one because he's using an extra mile 9 to where I'm using a Thor's Hammer 6. And not everybody has a Thor's Hammer 6. But we just want to show you a couple things. Extra mile 8 or 9 works. This is with a Titan ball. Okay, if you have an extra mile 8, I suggest that you use a Berserker ball. And you just kind of have to test, how your ball bounces and rolls. But either way, they're good shots. Extra mile 9, we're lining up at the plus 13 yard mark. That is important, with the yellow ring on the rough. And we're going to pull 10% elevation here. And what we're going to do to get a little bit of distance back is we're actually going to push up 1 full ring. And then you take your shot. As you can see here, we're going full overpower, no curl. Perfect ball is extremely clutch on this hole. A great right could put you into those rocks right there. And a great left could put you into the rough. But we do have some great shots that have worked out. And this is right here next to the hole for a very easy chip in. All right. This shot is coming from Michael, another guy I've been talking to quite a bit about some tournament strategies. So you can see here, he is going to be loading up. And he switches clubs to a Thor's hammer. And I just wanted to show you this one because he almost gets a hole-in-one on the hole. But this is another Titan ball. You don't have to go crazy with the Berserker unless you want to play with a more powerful ball. And if you do, you don't have to use overpower on a Berserker. And I'm going to show you that as well. But again here, we are adjusting at a 10% elevation. And this is a little bit of a smaller push-up. And you can see here the difference is less overpower with the Thor's Hammer 6. And he's using a little bit of right curl. The thing is, you don't want to go too much on the right curl because you could end up clipping the rough right there. And he hits the side of the rocks and it almost pushes him in for a hole-in-one. So very good shot. Wanted to give him a shout out, on this one. And then last but not least, we got my buddy Chris here, better known as Two Putt Shakur. Him and I will be doing some dual streaming soon once I get a laptop and once I start to understand, how I can do something like that. But I'm sure he can walk me through that. I just need a deal on a laptop, a gaming laptop, I guess, because those things are expensive. But here we go. This is a Thor's Hammer, level 6. Now, this replay ball is not correct. This is a Berserker. So he's playing with the Berserker, and I wanted to show you this shot because you can see him push back up to max. He is using no overpower and just a baby amount of right curl. And you see this ball falls down nice. A good smooth roll right onto the fringe as well. Now, I'm doing the same thing with the Thor's Hammer 6 and the Berserker. My shots are just boring. A couple of my shots went past the green. Still stopping on the fringe. But these just looked a lot better. But I wanted to show you 3 replays. Extra Mile, Titan. I wanted to show you Thor's Hammer, Titan. And I wanted to show you Thor's Hammer, Berserker, which you don't have to worry about overpower. So there's 3 ways to play hole number 1. You decide what clubs you have and what you're comfortable with, but that's a great eagle opportunity to get us a really good start on the tournament. Now we go into hole number 2. So hole number 2, we're playing 20% and we're playing at minimum distance. And there's a little trick in Golf Clash to where if you want to find absolute minimum distance of your sniper, and the reason that's important on some par 3s or some albatross opportunities is because you can then use absolute minimum distance number of your sniper in your Golf Clash notebook app or Clash Caddy app. But the way that you find a minimum distance of a sniper is to put a backbone or a grizzly in your golf bag, even though you're not going to use those clubs, because those clubs are less powerful than a Goliath. If you have a Goliath in your bag on this hole, you're not going to be able to actually find the true minimum distance line of your sniper. But with a grizzly or a backbone, you can. And this shot is really close to a hole-in-one. It's just giving me a little bit of issues. But we're going with a little bit more than 1 bar of backspin. And we're going to go with 2 bars of side spin to the right. And you can see here I am offsetting to the right hand of the cup about 1 full square. And I am favoring a 1201 pull angle here. So we pull this one. At minimum distance, we hit a perfect ball. And this is what keeps happening to me. I keep coming in just barely to the left-hand side. So I'm going to try to just offset a little bit more and use the same spin adjustments because I don't really want to change spin at this point in the tournament. But, hole number 2 is a tougher hole-in-one for sure. But I think we can pick it up. And, we're getting closer. Hole number 3, this is a really great chance for an albatross. And, I hate to call a hole a must albatross once, but I do think a lot of people will albatross this hole. And we need to be part of that. So here we adjust our elevation. and then we push back up to max to get our distance back. And you can see here I'm using about half a ball of curl and half a ball of overpower. Now the thing is, notice my spin adjustments, okay? Notice the top spin that I use is not full top spin. We don't want to go too much top spin because you can experience a little glitch on this fairway that pushes you into the rough. And the good news is we don't need a whole lot of distance when it comes to this hole anyways. But here's the top spin that I'm using. It's going to be 5 bars of top spin combined with 2 bars of left side spin, and then 10% elevation, and then push back up to max to get your distance back. Half a ball of left curl, half a ball of overpower puts you in a really good spot on this hole on the fairway. And then shot number 2 is going to be played at no elevation, and you'll just have to kind of gauge where you're at on your club. Like for me, I'm not at medium and I'm not at maximum. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. So what I do in this situation is I'm at 5.8 miles per hour. I have a Goliath. I'm playing with no elevation. So medium distance is 2.7. Max distance is 3.3. So I just split that in half, right? So I play 3 rings, if I'm in that position. And then right here, I'm just aiming my spin to the hole and through the hole. And as you can see, I am favoring the left-hand side of the cup. So you see that right there? I'm not dead center. I'm favoring the left-hand side, and that's going to be very important. And notice how I have my green inner ring right on the fringe line. I'm doing that because I don't want to fall too far into the sand with my adjustment. Because you can see that when you fall into the sand, it distorts the rings. And that's why I'm pulling over the bullseye there. And I am using just a little bit of overpower, okay? A baby amount. And I am choosing to do that instead of pushing up half of a ring. So the way you technically would want to play this hole, and I was running out of time, is after you adjust your shot, you'd want to push up about another half of a ring. If you don't want to worry about doing something that technical, you can play with just a little bit of overpower like I did, and you see the ball comes in really smooth and a perfect shot for an albatross. You just have to be confident in your ability to pull that off and not use too much overpower. So that's the best advice I can give you. You just get the feel for that one. But that's a great chance for an albatross. Hole number 4, this is going to be your setup, okay? Notice how I have the blue ring right here on the sand line to the top and to the bottom of the sand. It just works out good for positioning. And I was pretty happy when I went back and looked at my replay because I kept missing this shot on Monday and Tuesday to the left-hand side of the pin, and I didn't really like a frame of reference from my landing spot. But once I offset the ball to the right of the cup, which you can see right there, so I circled it, you can see where I'm aiming short and right, and this just works out. So here's how the shot is played. It's going to be played at 35% elevation with about 3.8 bars of backspin and just a sliver of side spin to the left. And this is going to be 100% of the time. So there's your spin adjustment, okay? And here you see me kind of just wiggle around until I can find that landing spot. And this was the first time that I made the shot, but it's 5.3 miles an hour wind. And you can see I'm aiming just short and slightly right of the hole. And you do want to favor the 1159 pull angle. You don't want it to be a hard 1159. You just want it to bounce between north and north-left. And that's going to help this ball push into the cup. You can see there, the speed is absolutely perfect. We smashed the pin right in the middle for a hole-in-one. This time, this is your best case scenario that you get the minimum amount of wind strength that you can get on pro, which is 4.5. But you see here, we basically use the same spin. And I try to find that spot again. So right there. And we pull this one at 35%. Again, we're letting this pull angle go slightly favor an 1159. That will be important, okay? If you don't do that, you're probably going to miss to the right-hand side. But again, we get a very smooth roll, and this time we sneak it into the right-hand side of the cup. So I should have moved my target over a little bit more to the left, but regardless, there's 2 hole-in-ones for you. That shot is super good. I've actually got it 4 times, I believe, and the only time that I missed it was in my -15 round, but I hit a great shot. So there's hole number 4. You guys will be able to pick that one up. Hole number 5, 10% elevation. Again, notice the spin adjustment here. We are only using 4 bars of top spin combined with 3 bars of left side spin. And for a frame of reference of where I am starting this shot, I am trying to start this shot right between those bushes. So you see the green bush and the purple bush? Notice how my target is right in the middle of that. That's where I'm lining up after my spin, and that's where I want you to line up as well, because it gives us a really good drive. And then I push up to max. There will be one change to the spin on this hole. Notice again, a lot of overpower with about half of a bar of left curl. This course just requires a lot of overpower, which I think is good because I think it's going to mess a lot of people up. I left myself a lot of room on the fairway here. So I want everybody to change this. If you have an extra mile 8, I want you to change this to 6 bars of top spin and keep the left spin the same. If you have an extra mile 6 or 7, and you only have 4.5 bars of top spin, go full top spin. And that way your ball will roll higher up onto the fairway. But regardless, minus 10% elevation on the second shot. And I play this one at medium distance of my thorn, minus 10% elevation. And you can see here, I go 2.5 bars of backspin, and I just aim dead center into the cup. And then we pull our rings. And of course, the most important thing is hit a perfect shot. You're not going to make this shot if you hit great, unless you miss pull or miss aim. But, we sneaked that one right into the hole. And that was at mid distance of the thorn. Now today, when I added more top spin to my shot, you can see here I'm at absolute minimum distance of my thorn, and that's the best situation to be in. I get to apply more backspin for more ball control. I get to aim higher up on the green, which leaves less room for air, right? So the less room that your ball has to touch down to roll to the pin, the better, in my opinion. As you can see here, I'm way higher up on the fairway. Hit another perfect ball, and this ball goes right into the cup. Dead center this time for the eagle. So hole number 5 is a par 4. It gives us a great opportunity for an eagle, and we're really steamrolling through the tournament at this point. Now we go to hole number 6. Hole number 6, another really good opportunity for an eagle. And here, guys and gals, we're going full blast, all right? So I want you to see where I'm aiming, because the aiming is super important in this tournament. So notice how I stretch my club here, and this is what you need to get used to doing if you don't. You need to stretch your club to see where your ball guideline is, and I don't want to aim there, right? That's way too close to the rough. I want to move my club around until I'm aiming right there. That's a great position to be in. It gives me room for a great shot to the left and to the right. So notice how my target is right there in that high grass area. That's a good reference point for you. Pull your rings, push back up to max, and then, let this baby rip. I would suggest you actually go full overpower. In this scenario, I went overpower to the bottom of my ball, touched the bottom of the adjustment target, but I still leave myself a lot of fairway to work with. Now you can notice here, this shot is significantly downhill. So we're going to play shot number 2 at 30% elevation. And I like that I'm at minimum distance of my sniper. That's where we want to be, because look how good of a chance we have here for an albatross. Now notice here, I am offsetting short and just to the left of the pin. I'm going to pull this one pretty much straight in this example. So as north as I can, you know, and try not to use a pull angle on this albatross. But we do want to use a pull angle, and I'm going to show you why. So notice here, I just missed to the right. Now there's two things I can do. I can offset more, which is good, or I can offset and just change this to an 1159 pull angle every single time. And here's why that's important, and I hope people aren't skipping through because this is the stuff that you miss. If you use the exact same pull angle every single time on this shot, so for example, if I just use an 1159 every time, I can only miss one way because I'm not letting my needle go from north to north right or maybe north to north left. I am taking the whole north to north right out of the equation of this shot, and I'm just going to let my needle bounce from north to north left, north to north left. That's called 1159. So now I can dial in from there, which is what I'm going to do on this shot. So again, minimum distance, same spin, but watch where I aim and watch my needle. So now I'm aiming more to the left-hand side, okay? And this is what we want to do for the next round, and I haven't done it yet, so I'll just do it while I'm showing everybody right here what I do. Okay, so what I do, and when I play, I always zoom in, and that way I can do this. Now I can take a screenshot of what I'm doing, and I can zoom in, and now I can save that. And now I can send that to my iPhone because I play on my iPad. So now I know that when I go into the next round, I am essentially aiming. Do you see where my ball guideline is? Do you see how it's in the corner of that light green square? That's a really good reference point for us to use now. Oh, shoot. Okay, so back to where we were. 30%. Now notice how I'm going to pull this one at a very slight 1159 pull angle. I'm only going to allow my wind arrow to go north to north left, and it just vibrates back and forth there. No longer will I let it go north to north right. Now look what happens on this shot. And I know I'm talking a lot. You know, I just get excited about this kind of stuff because I just want to help everybody become a better player. I got the good camera angle, but I still just barely miss. So now what I will do is I know the pull angle is good. All I have to do is just move my target a smidge more to the left. And now we have a very good repeatable albatross. So I know I talked a lot, but I think it's important that we pick this shot up because a lot of people won't. And that's how you goal the tournament. Now, hole number 7. This one's a little frustrating, okay? I want to tell you, there is a rough bump on the top of this sand, but you have no room for error. I mean, I hit 3 perfect shots, and I sent this ball flying every time. And, I mean, it just went flying. I missed the rough, so I'm just scrapping it from that point of view. I'm going to play this rough bump instead. And this rough bump is pretty good, and I'm just trying to go max left spin with like a 1 bar of backspin. And I'm pulling this at 10% elevation at maximum distance of the sniper. Well, I just fast forward through this for time purposes because I hit a perfect ball. You see here, no issues with missing the rough. And I keep missing barely to the right-hand side, okay? So on this shot today, I'm like, okay, forget it then. If I keep missing to the right, I'm going to pull this one at an 1159 pull angle and aim kind of in the same area, right? So left side of the pin. And this time I pull 1159 pull angle, a pretty hard 1159 as you can see right there. Like it's completely 1159. It's not even going north at all. And of course, you know, another perfect ball, but this is what happens to me this time. So now I miss to the left-hand side, but barely. So I'm still working on this shot. And, you know, if I get it, I'll update it. But, you know, I'm only going to update pro if I get this to drop 2 or 3 times. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But we're pretty locked in on pro. I mean, we've already dropped a whole bunch of shots, and we've already talked about how we're going to get an albatross on hole number 6. If we hit perfect shots, I mean, we're set up to win this tournament just with this guide alone. which brings us into hole number 8. Hole number 8, another really good opportunity here for an eagle. It's still a shot that I'm working on because I was trying to do a rough bump with a Goliath, which is my favorite long iron. I hate the Grizzly. I hate how many rings you have to pull with the Grizzly. But I changed it to a Grizzly today, with all that being said, for the accuracy purposes. But here we go. This is a pretty easy drive. Let's take a look at the spin adjustments. Take a look at my plus yard mark with the extra mile that I'm using here. But all we're trying to do is go fairway to fairway. And the one thing I want to warn you about is if you go too far up onto the fairway, you will be taking a rough bump with your thorn, unless you have a different club in your bag. And I didn't like that as well. So that's why I don't have this hole dialed in yet. I was trying to do a lot of distance with my drive earlier in the week using a thorn rough bump. Wasn't going well. I was trying to then use a Goliath rough bump. Wasn't going well. So now I'm like, okay, I'll just cave in and use a Grizzly. And same thing, I'm still missing 30% elevation. And we need to use a little bit of backspin here with a couple bars of right spin, just because the way the ball rolls down this slope here. But, 30% elevation, and I'm aiming dead center of the pin. Of course, this is shot number 1 today. I only have 2 pro accounts, and, the speed is really good, and I just missed by a hair to the left. So I'm like, okay, then, I'll just do this exact same spin because I hit about the same distance on my drive. And I'm like, all right, then, let's just aim to the right-hand side this time. So, we aim to the right-hand side. And what do you know happens? What do you think happens? Oh, yeah. We miss, but we're closer. So, all in all, I don't think I'm going to have to use a slider on this hole. Although we can, if you want to get super technical with it. But with this being a rough bump shot, I think we can just move our adjustment more to the right-hand side. And that ball is going to drop into the hole extremely consistently as long as we get the same yardage on our drive. Which is why I want you to take a look at my drive again so we can pick up this shot. Now, this is also another really good chance for an albatross. And the thing that I don't like is earlier in the week, I was getting too many yards on my drive, which was actually putting me at a Goliath shot. So then on Tuesday, I backed it up a little bit yesterday, and I was trying to take shot number 2 with the sniper. And the sniper plays really well, and we can dial it in for sure for an albatross. But, I decided today to try to go with a horizon rough bump and give myself an even better controlled shot at the pin. Because anytime you can take a rough bump shot, in my opinion, it gives you better control. And it's definitely easier to dial in a rough bump shot than it is to dial in a straight up long distance shot for an albatross. But regardless, here's what the rough bump looks like. You want to go max right spin and, just enough top spin to aim at the hole. Now, I hit a great shot on my Big Daddy account. Here, I hit a perfect ball. But again, this is the first attempt with a horizon with a perfect ball that I've had. So I still have to work on this shot. But again, I'll be thrilled to death if I just get one albatross on this hole in the finals. So still got a lot of work to do, but the speed is pretty good. Now it's just about getting, the landing position and offset correct. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Please hit the thumbs up button. And, if you have the means and the ability to do so and you really like my work, please help support my channel. You can find out how to do so in the comment section